Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's early afternoon for me and I'm heading off to work soon, so I don't know why I'm doing this right now. But I was thinking a lot last night, and while I don't really want to do a whole lot of drama content on my channel because that's not really what I'm about, I kind of wanted to make like a shorter, more digestible video with some of my thoughts on the Peaches situation, like just, like a shorter, simpler video for people to watch. And one of the things that came to my mind was, like, I've seen some creators saying, oh, well, we need to wait for both sides to come out before we can make any judgments. Like, everyone needs to back off because we need to wait for both sides. We need to hear both sides of the story. And to an extent, I agree, because, like, if you don't, like, if you're only going off one side of the story in some cases, that can lead to, like, people dogpiling on someone who isn't actually guilty. Like, I think it was, what is that creator, Quite? With the false allegations and stuff, everybody started attacking him, and it turned out that the allegations were false. And so, like, in situations like that, like, I think it is good to wait until both sides have come out. But the issue I take with creators who might be taking that stance towards Peaches and Lio is, it's not that we, like, I don't think we necessarily need their side of the story and for them to come out and speak about it in order to look at their actions and say, hey, this is wrong. Because there is screenshots of Peaches being in that server, like the FCK server, and I honestly think there's some stuff that she didn't even address that should be getting called out for. Like, one of the things that bothers me was how there was, like, topless art Peaches did of herself and Toasty that was posted in there, and maybe Peaches didn't post that in there herself, but she gave it to Toasty knowing full well that, like, they have shared not safe for work art and stuff in that server, so you would think that she would be aware that, hey, there's a chance that this could happen. And, like, on the one hand, it's like, for me, like, I am trying to view the situation from a more balanced and nuanced kind of, like, approach, because I am the kind of person who I like to try and see the good in everyone. I like to believe redemption is always possible and things are not just black and white, and that's something that bothers me on the internet, is this really black and white attitude I see that's like, you're either good or you're bad. Situations are either, like, one side or another, there's no in between. I just don't think that's the case, and I've seen a lot of people coming at this, like, either, like, completely defending Peaches or kind of, like, attacking her, like, like, even making comments about her appearance, using the same names that she used to call Rosa and stuff, and I just don't think that that's really necessary, even if I do disagree with her actions way more than I'm letting on. I'm just trying to be respectful. And I don't really know how to feel about the Rosa thing, because I don't think she was completely innocent, but I also think that the way they attacked her was just extremely harsh and over the top. But it's just, like, Peaches should be called out, and I'm trying to be respectful about it, but when there is all this information available, like, you have the 4-hour call, you have these screenshots and logs of her being in the Discord server, it's a little bit hard to say, oh, well, let's wait for both sides, because honestly, there's a part of me that doesn't think Peaches is gonna even acknowledge the phone call. Like, maybe I thought there was, like, a clip from one of Lio's videos where he said, oh, well, we've apologized to Rosa, we've made the Senate a better place, like, that stuff won't happen again, but have they really acknowledged it publicly? And, like, to me it just seems like they're doing damage control rather than showing, hey, we've learned from this, and they're only starting to address it once stuff is getting really bad. Like, kind of, like, it just screams to me like we're protecting our public image. It rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know. So, and, like, there's still creators and stuff like that who are associating with Peaches, despite the fact that, like, they've called her out on her actions, like Ponder Sprocket, like, she was one of the first people to call them out in that phone call, like the Discord call, but yet it seems like she's still associating with them. And I also think that's like, okay, well, you shouldn't necessarily just stop interacting with your friends. You shouldn't necessarily like disown them just because they did one bad thing. But I think you kind of have to like draw a line in the sand for yourself. And where is that line where enough is enough? Like, because if it's not ableist or like, because like what Peaches did was kind of ableist behavior. It was like hiding not safe for work stuff that was being shown around minors. If it was something smaller, you know, like she got into a fight online or she made a stupid mistake, that's one thing. But here are examples of her using derogatory language, harmful behavior, you know, like being hypocritical and not speaking up about something that she's criticized others for not doing as well. And it's just like, where do you draw the line in the sand? Because this isn't just a small thing. This is a bunch of little things that are harmful and they're adding up, and I don't know if she's taking real accountability or steps to actually address the behavioral problems, and she's not even acknowledging it publicly, so and it seems like she's just using her mental health as a crutch, which, I'm sorry, I understand mental health problems can be a struggle, but you still have to address the root causes, and and the mental health problems do not excuse, like, calling people names and being derogatory and rude. And I get that maybe, like, from my perspective, I wouldn't be surprised if Peaches started this whole predator hunting thing as a way of coping with her own trauma because she was groomed. That would not surprise me. But then you have to understand that you're going into something that you know you have trauma that's somewhat connected to it, and it's probably going to be triggering for you, and it's probably going to be bad on your mental health. And you have to realize that you're not a trained professional. You're not like a psychologist or a therapist who has proper training. You're not a police officer with proper training. There's not going to be the mental health resources that would be available to police officers and therapists, and it's not really fair to compare yourself to them either and be like, oh, well, I have it so hard, because yes, you're trying to do a good thing, but you're bringing it on yourself, and it's just, like, that's not an excuse to take it out on other people. I get that you want to help others, but you could have gone through proper channels and done that in real life. When you go through it online and you try and make yourself this big hero, well, obviously it's going to be a lot harder, but that's not an excuse to, like, abuse your power and try and just act all holier than thou and be rude and derogatory. So, I don't know, those are just my thoughts. I don't think Peaches is a horrible person, but I think a lot of her behavior is really questionable and should be called out. I don't think it should just be swept under the rug. I'm not saying cancel her forever or get rid of her platform, but I'm just saying view things with a skeptical lens and just hopefully she'll improve, because I was never really a fan of her, but this is disappointing behavior to see, and it's disappointing how a lot of the creators in that community are just kind of ignoring it. And granted, they are not obligated to speak out. They have their own real lives, they have their own problems and stuff, but a lot of them aren't really acknowledging it, or the ones that are, like Harley, which I don't really follow him anymore either, but it seems like they kind of ignored it until, like, even it seemed like they didn't stop being friends with Peaches until Peaches was gossiping behind their back, which is just like, why did you not draw the line at ableist remarks, but gossip? That's friendship ending. I mean, it's in the past, so what's done is done. But even then, when they're talking about it on Twitter, from what I saw, is now that, like, Omnia is, I don't know, like, there's something happening with Omnia, now they're talking about making a video exposing Omnia, and it just sounds like blackmail and stuff to me, and I don't know. I'm not really a fan of either of them. I don't think either of them are perfect people. I don't know what all the Omnia drama was about, but it's just like, really, like, why are you focusing on Omnia right now and kind of, like, making that into a big issue when there's other things to worry about? It just rubs me the wrong way, and it's just like there's unnecessary drama and stuff being created when it's just like, to me it's just like, can't you guys just be adults and just leave each other alone, or focus on the bigger issues rather than starting petty drama, being kind of like manipulative and stuff and threatening to blackmail others or expose them? And it's just like, you're just creating unnecessary drama in a situation that's already so tense for everybody. It's not doing any good, and it's just like, you know what, whatever, it's your channel, you can do that if you want to, but I don't know, it's such a mess, and I feel like it's not really being handled properly by a lot of those creators, or Peaches or Lio themselves. So the creators who say wait for a second side, well, sure, we can wait for them to speak on it, but I also think it's important to realize that we have a lot of the context already, and them coming out and saying, oh, well, like, I was in a bad headspace, or this is what was going through my head, or blah, 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 blah. Yes, it will provide context. It might help us understand why they acted the way they did, but that's still not going to be an excuse to justify it. And I think in this situation, actions speak a lot louder than words. And right now I'm seeing a lot of words where they've kind of apologized and stuff, but then those same attitudes and behaviors continue, and it's just going on and on and on. So I would rather see, like, actions and them actually apologizing, not making excuses or saying my mental health was bad, this is what was going through my head. Just say, I'm sorry this happened, it was terrible, like, I should never have done that, the past is in the past, I'm working to move forward, and these are the steps I will take to better myself going forward. Actually, I want them to actually work on themselves, work on addressing the root issues, not just the mental health or the surface level issues, but the actual underlying issues that are contributing to these behaviors and causing them to lash out and say such things and abuse their power in such a way. There are underlying issues, and I hope that they can focus on those rather than just treating the surface issues, because I just don't think they're bad people. I just think they have a lot of growth they need to do, and it would probably do them a lot of good to step away from the internet, take a breather, go to therapy maybe, and just take some time working on themselves so they can hopefully come back and try and do better moving forward in whatever area they want to go. So those are just my thoughts. Hopefully this makes sense. This is just kind of a quick ramble, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out here and see what other people think. So thank you for watching this and hearing me out. So it means the world to me. So have a good rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you in one of my next videos. Hopefully it'll be a bit lighter than this, but take care of yourselves.